the new government and its attitude towards the free press. The defendants are accused of supporting the now banned Muslim Brotherhood and of spreading false information following the ousting of Mohamed Morsi. While a large number of Egyptians do back the government's crackdown on terrorism, an increasing number are concerned about personal liberty. Sonia Drudi has this report from Cairo.
Assem Mohamed and Adel Fahmy, the brothers of jailed Al Jazeera journalists, share their concerns. For more than 2 months, Egyptian-Canadian Mohamed Fahmy and Egyptian Baher Mohamed have been in detention, along with their Australian colleague Peter Grest. All three work for Al Jazeera International and are accused of manipulating footage and supporting the Muslim Brotherhood, that's now been branded a terrorist organisation. Their family members say the accusations are without grounds and they shouldn't be in jail.
He would never, ever jeopardize the well-being of Egypt. There are no evidence to incriminate them. It's not right to play around with people's lives like that.
Fahmy and Grest were arrested at this hotel in Cairo on charges of working without a permit. Egyptian television aired this footage, filmed just after their arrest, playing suspenseful music in the background and showing their mobile phones as if they were evidence at a crime scene. Cameraman Mohamed was roughed up by police and arrested at his home. He wrote a letter from prison to his wife and 2 children, defending the freedom of speech.
He said he was just trying to do his job and be professional. He didn't understand why they were arresting journalists when the revolution was supposed to have brought freedom of expression back to the country.
The 2 men think the arrests were an attempt by the Egyptian authority to try and silence the Qatar-based channel. Accused of helping a terrorist group, the journalists could face up to 15 years in prison. Shaima Abul-Kai works for the Committee to Protect Journalists, a media watchdog. She's concerned about the rapid decline of press freedom in her country.
We're seeing flagrant attacks on journalists by security forces and random arrests targeting all types of journalism. The CPJ has placed Egypt as the 3rd deadliest country in the world for journalists on the job.
Foreign journalists working in the country are also beginning to feel a change in the climate, like Ursula Lindsay, an American living in Egypt for 12 years.
So I worked at independent magazines, local magazines under Mubarak, and there were certainly concerns with censorship, with negative reaction from the state. But overall, we were not anywhere near as concerned as we are today. We definitely have less freedom of expression and more suspicion towards journalists and hostility towards journalists than I think at any time that I've been here.
This hostile sentiment towards foreign journalists has in part been driven by state and private Egyptian media, portraying them as being supportive of Islamist groups. When the army drove the Muslim Brotherhood out of power last July, the international media called the move a coup d'etat, angering many in the Egyptian public. Hani Farag, a reporter from Nile TV, shares the public's feeling.
Foreign journalists have become persona non grata here in Egypt. They defended the so-called legitimacy of the Muslim Brotherhood to rule the country when the people rejected them.
In the increasingly polarised atmosphere, it's become difficult for the media to have dissident voices heard. Contacted by France 24, the Egyptian authorities have so far declined to talk about the subject. While reiterating their commitment to respecting the freedom of expression, they remain vague about the rights of journalists to interview members of the banned Islamist movement.
Well, time for a very quick break here on France 24. When we come back, all the latest international headlines for you. Plus, we'll be going to Rome, where John Kerry has been meeting with Sergei Lavrov for direct talks on Ukraine for a 2nd straight day. That's up next.